Welcome to another session of the HubSpot Admins HUG. This is your weekly event to connect with, learn from, lean on all the other admins in the HubSpot ecosystem and find out the information that you need to know to do your job. I am your host, Deanna Giloff. Kyle will be back with us very soon, mid-November, but in the meantime, we have several community members stepping up to help us out. So Janine, thank you, appreciate it. And all of you who share all of the links in the chat is very much appreciated. If this is your first hug, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. And if you've joined us before, I am so glad to have you back. All right, so what are we doing today? Our upcoming events, this is where you are going to go and you're going to find all of the amazing events that are coming up. Today, we are Operations Hub, which is no longer Operations Hub. We'll let the team talk about that. Following week, we're going to be talking about Content Hub, and then the following week after that, Sales Hub. At the end of October, we're going to do HubSpot deduplication with Qualify. And then we are going to dive into the Marketing Hub changes that were announced to Inbound. On November 4th, we've got OpenAI joining us. So we've got a lot of events coming up, and then the long-awaited HubSpot Admin Show and Tell on November 11th. So if you've got any other submissions, we might be able to squeeze a couple more people in. So go ahead and get those as soon as you can. If you do miss an event, it's okay. All of those are on the HubSpot Admins HUG YouTube channel. Go ahead and check those out. 160 videos to keep you busy for as long as you can. And we do have a LinkedIn group for all of the connections that you want to make. Share your links in the chat, connect with each other while you're here on the Admin HUG, and you can check out that. We do have a space on the HubSpot community. You can get any of those resources there, connect with other community assets. There's a lot of people who know a lot about HubSpot. Go ahead and check that out. The show and tell, I mentioned that we do have that form there. So go ahead and submit those. If you don't get in this session, we are going to start doing those quarterly. So get your submissions in. And even if you think it's the smallest minor thing that would be helpful to other admins, go ahead and share it because you never know. And by the way, we'll be starting another content series that will be pulling from these. So go ahead and submit your information. It's a great way to help other admins in the area. The Super Admin Bootcamp is full right now, but they do have a wait list. So go ahead and get your information on there. They will be reaching out, so making sure to let them know that it is sessions that you are interested in. And if you don't fill out the wait list, they don't know. If you have any issues while we are on the event, Bevy does what Bevy does. Turn it off, turn it on again, refresh your browser, make sure you're using Chrome, and let us know in the chat. Sometimes it is an issue that we can resolve. If not, try rebooting. Make sure you are submitting those ideas for hugs. We have these every week. I try to get as many product managers and project managers on as we can, as well as community members. So submit those ideas for the hug. Otherwise, I'm going to be picking what those sessions look like for you. Connect with myself, connect with Kyle. And if you are looking for a job or looking for someone to help out with HubSpot, go ahead and post in hiring for HubSpot on LinkedIn. And without further ado, I will bring on Kara and the team. Thank you guys for joining us and sharing Now Data Hub with us.
Thanks so much for having us. We have a great crew today, so I'm really excited to kick things off. I will share my screen real quick. Perfect. Can you all see that? Awesome.
There it is.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Kara Jankowski, and I am on the product team within Data Hub at HubSpot. And in just a second, we'll do intros with everyone else that's presenting today. But just to get familiar with the agenda, I want to talk a little bit about this shift from Operations Hub to Data Hub that you may have heard a little bit about coming out of Inbound. Then we'll spend most of the time on demos. We have a little bit of a preview on our roadmap through the rest of this year, going into next year, and then we'll spend some time at the end on Q&A. And with that, I will let everyone on the team introduce themselves. Alex, do you want to kick things off?
Yeah, sure. Everyone, my name's Alex. I'm a PM on the Data Hub team. I focus primarily on import-export as well as sync to CRM and some of the activations for Data Studio. I'll kick it to Jasmine next.
Hello, everyone. Jasmine Sarkazi. I'm a PM on the Data Hub team, and I primarily focus on all things Data Studio. And I'll pass it on to Mark.
Hey everyone, Mark here. A PM working on the integrations team. I focus on warehouse integrations, but other things as well within the data integration space. Yeah, Parth.
Hi everybody, my name is Parth. I'm the product manager for the data quality tools, deduplication, formatting issues, and the data quality overview space.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. We have an all-star crew today to present. So before we jump into that, just wanted to take a second to talk a little bit about the shift from Operations Hub to Data Hub. Now, a lot of you may have seen either virtually or in person or on LinkedIn, a lot of content coming out of Inbound. And in case you missed it, we announced a pretty big update to Operations Hub and renaming as Data Hub. It was great to get early feedback from many of you on all of the new launches, which we're really excited to share with you some more details on today. But big question, why Data Hub? With Data Hub, we're excited to move towards our vision of delivering combined, enhanced, and AI-ready customer data for marketing, sales, and success teams. Now, a lot of you may have used Ops Hub in the past. It was really powerful, but it was really built for the most technical pros and developers, and Data Hub is different. It's built for the marketer and the generalist. It's more approachable, AI-powered, and designed to fuel growth. And these are aligned with 4 key ways that are highlighted here that we want to see the shift come together within Data Hub. One, it's built to be approachable, so it's built and designed with approachability in mind. It gives access to more customer data from across your stack. It has the tools to enhance your data at scale. And then lastly, it enables data activation across HubSpot. So specifically for data sets, you'll see how that's evolved into Data Studio, and now data sets can be used across the platform. So when you bring it all together, approachability, combine, enhance, and activate, you get Data Hub. And with the tools like Data Studio, Data Sync, Data Quality, you can bring data together, ultimately with the goal to make it useful for your team and to help drive growth. And with that, we're excited to share with you what's new and really what makes up Data Hub today. I will hand it off to, I believe, Jasmine. You're going to kick things off to talk Data Studio.
Cool. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see the main Data Studio homepage?
Looks good.
Okay, great. So we've done this before, and I wanted to just still do a quick intro of what Data Studio can do for everyone. It is the playground where you can bring all your external data sources, whether it's from sync apps that are available from Google Sheets or data warehouses that Mark is going to go in detail of, and combine it with your HubSpot data to make the most of it. So this is the place where we can create data sets as well as activate them. So I want to go ahead by bringing together an example use case where a customer is gone to a marketing automation or home automation event, and they've collected data from each of those members over there on what product are they interested, what do they want to do. And all of the data is stored in my Google Sheet. So I go ahead, select my account, open Google Drive, authenticate, coming back over here, and you will see several different sheets available. So I select the sheet that I want to do and click next. Simple, I can view all the data that I want to bring into HubSpot, and I see each value. I can select what is my main header column, and that's it. I have to add a data source. I'm not going to go ahead and do this because I've already imported the data, so I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. This is the sheet where there's some issue, as you would know with any demo, but that sheet should have all the data that we just saw with different participants coming in, what is the review they've given for your home automation product. I'll switch my tab and go to the one that has my data set ready to go, where I want to walk you through a demo for smart columns. Let me share my screen again. Let me know if you can see that one. Okay. Can you see the home automation demo for September 30 dataset?
Sure can.
Okay, great. So what I have done over here is I've combined contacts with the automation sheet or the event sheet that I got and combine them. Here you can decide what is your match key. So this is automatically done for you now with a new join experience. And because one person has expressed interest in several products or over several times, I have selected that each contact may have multiple entries in my sheet and clicked on multiple matches possible. And in order to make the operation a little easy, I've also selected exclude any contacts that don't have a match. So they didn't attend that event and I don't want to look at those. So coming back to creating columns. So you will see there are two views, a summarized and unsummarized. In my summarized view, I only get to see columns that are rolled up to my primary object, which in this case is contact. So for Emma, there may be 3 or 4 entries, but I am only going to be interested in the rolled up value for it. So that's easy to do. You go to choose column, look at the columns, and then when you click on this, you can decide what is the aggregation function you want to add. For products, I chose the most frequent product. So if Emma has given interest or reviewed the product several times, I'll choose the one that she has most frequently reviewed or most frequently scored. So that's why the column has appeared as universal remote control. That's what Emma is interested in. Now, I have all of this good information. I have these 10 plus 10 contacts, the products that they're interested in. I want to send them an email based on their interest level for the product. I want to craft something new. So I'll go to create column. And here we have the cool data agent where you can create your own smart column. It's similar to smart properties, but in the data studio space. You could use a smart column template depending on what your use case is, which was recently launched. Or I'll go ahead and write my specific column. Now here, I want to send them email and specify or personalize this email. So let me name this as email text field. And here I'll write based on the most frequent products. So I can select the columns from the data set in the prompt itself, craft a snippet of email for contact first name talking about the value of product. Well, hopefully folks are better than what I'm doing here for crafting an email. Now, I also want to show where this product value is. So let's say it is on homedepot.com. This is where I'm selling these products. So pick it up from there and craft an email. Now you can see you can insert the email tokens directly as you were typing, or you could insert it from here where all the columns are available for you to write into the prompt. I'll select the source for this. It's web research. I want it to scroll the web, get the information, craft this message, and show it. And I want to store it as a string. So I'll click on preview. So caveat here, previews don't cost you. So you can go ahead and experiment, look at the preview. If it works, then save. And that action will cost credits. So I want to see, I'll select the records that I want to demo and see what text it generates. If it doesn't find information, it will end up not generating content. So I can switch to different one. Okay. Let's see if either of those work. Let's regenerate preview. Okay, for some reason, this isn't working, and maybe we can revisit this in a few minutes again, and I can show you how that should yield a result. Let's try it one more time. Okay, the demo gods are not happy because it was literally working a few minutes ago. So I'll come back to this on how we can generate text over here. I'll quickly switch over to how this value that you're going to get, which is your email content stored in the column level, can be used to automate email marketing. Let me switch my screen. Are there any questions meanwhile that are popping up?
It looks like Alex answered it. And just to make you feel better with live demos, I think something might be going on in the background. Everyone has been talking about some status issues, but I'm not seeing anything on the status page. So something's happening.
Yes, that's always the case. It would work right before the demo. So, okay, I am in a workflow. And how did I get here is by just clicking on dataset, use it in workflow. You can see the workflow is set to run on a schedule. Here you have several options if you want to run it once or monthly or weekly. For example, in my case, I just want to run it once because this is an event that happened over a period of 3 days, and now I have all the data. And I'll select the date and the time, and then I'll go ahead and use the dataset functionality. So we can branch on the data that's available within the dataset itself. So here I can click on enroll datasets. Yes. So apart from enroll contact, you can bring enroll dataset and select on what value do you want to branch it on. So if I want to branch it on just a product, and then say if the product is Smart Home Hub, then send the email. I can do that. I'll go ahead and save that branch and then add the next thing, which is sending an email and how I can tokenize it. So I have an email template that I created beforehand, which was basically something basic that says, thanks for attending the event, and here is a personalized token that will put in the value that we just generated from the smart column. So all it has is a token that says custom.personalized_email. And here I can assign a value to the token from the dataset. So I'll type in the token that I had in my email, personalized email. And for this, I can go ahead, pull the data set. Ideally, there would be a property here, but because it's not being generated, I can't access it in this moment. But you can choose any of the properties from the data set to actually come over here, and that fills the email template. That way, you can automate the whole process of getting information from a third-party source, combining it with your contacts, generating AI content for the personalized email, and then using workflow to automate this entire process. And that is it. I do have a running one, or the one that I just accomplished, so I can just look into that. But that's all we have.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Jasmine. I think we'll hand it over to Mark.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna test my luck, I guess.
We appreciate that.
Can you see my screen?
You see Data Studio.
Cool. All right. So a few things that I wanted to show, I guess. Firstly, is since the last time we did this demo, I demoed some of the popular warehouse connections that we had, like Snowflake was a big one, BigQuery, and S3. I didn't really get a chance to demo the S3 ingestion and connect to your S3 bucket, so I might do that one. And also, as a surprise, I'd like to demo the ability to bring in events via Data Studio as well. So just on S3, so say for example, you're using an S3 bucket and it looks like this. For those that use S3, you have your folder and you have like this CSV somewhere in your folder. What you can do, and I'm going to try it out right now, is try and connect. So I've already done the connection and made sure I've authenticated the user correctly so that there's a good secure handshake. And then I can connect to my S3 bucket. So this is my bucket. and then hopefully this should show up. So these are the two folders within my bucket. I want to bring in monthly active usage data. There's a CSV in there, so that's the CSV that I would like to bring in. And then I can choose my record ID, which has to be unique, and eventually start bringing in the columns of data that's in here. So this is literally the CSV that's in my folder over here. So that's the one that's being ingested, and then I can bring that into Data Studio. So that is how S3 ingestion would work. You can then use the same ingestion. You can use the added source, just like how you would any other added source in Data Studio. In this case, for example, I have a data set that uses Snowflake columns. I could also use one with the S3 columns or the S3 ingested columns that I did have. So yeah, so that's on warehouses. The one thing that I did want to add is, and I'm mentioning this because there was a comment in the Q&A, is we are going to soon support bringing in Databricks as well as a connector. So so yeah, that's the next thing that we're going to doing. Eventually, we want to support more popular, some of the more popular warehouse destinations. Yeah, so that's on warehouse ingestion. If I could quickly switch over to talking about events now. So with regards to events, we have a few apps that we support already. Active Campaign is one, BombBomb, Woodpecker, Brevo. So for example, if I go into Active Campaign, I can not only bring objects, but I can also bring in events. So these are the typical events that are supported in here. Campaign clicked, campaign open, campaign shared, contact task. This one is because I've already got a sync with contact task added, deal added, deal note added. Yeah, there's a few in here that we support, and then it's a similar kind of flow. Once you choose the event, you can then choose the columns that you want to bring in from the event. And if I were to show you how you use that in a data set, so hopefully this works. And if I were to join with active campaign, I'll do the contact task added because I just used that a while ago. So let's see how that goes. So there is some data in here that's coming in from live events that are again coming in from active campaign. The rest of them are not actual overlap between the contacts, so that's why you don't see them in here. Yeah, so what's coming up next? Oh, sorry, I'll just quickly stop sharing. Ooh, that's not great. So what's coming up next is, like I mentioned, Databricks. We're hoping to support more in the future. For events, we've got a few more. So currently, we don't support custom events, and also the events that you bring into data sets can only be used for reporting and aggregate columns. You can't sync those events to the timeline. That is something that we are working on, and hopefully will come soon. We want to also support global webhooks, which again, some apps allow that to start streaming events. And what else are we looking at? Yeah, there's more event apps that we want to support natively in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna hand over, I think, to Alex.
All right. Let's press my luck. All right. Does everyone see a data set?
Not yet.
Not yet?
There we go.
Awesome. Great. Okay, cool. So Jasmine showed us one way to activate a data set within the workflow. I'm going to show you two other ways that you can activate a data set. So in this data set here, I have this average level of interest. So it's gathering a summary of, and by the way, this is the same exact data set that Jasmine was using in her demo. But it's gathering a summary of all the time someone filled out the interest form and showing the level of that summarized against one contact to give us an average. And so I've decided that I want my sales reps to have this information so they can use it within their outreach. So I'm going to choose to sync it to the CRM. So I'm going to click sync to CRM. And here we see that my destination is contact, so this data will sync to the contact object. For my sync mode, I have update only selected, but I could choose create an update if I wanted to, or I could choose create only. For this example, I'll stick with update only. And then I'm going to select a sync frequency. I can do it once if I just want to do this on a one-time basis, but I can also do it on a recurring basis. And so I could go as infrequently as monthly or as frequently as every 15 minutes. And so as the data updates in the Google Sheet will update the data set, and then the data set on a 15-minute cadence will update the CRM. And then from there, I can choose my mappings. So I'm going to choose that average level of interest, and it auto maps to a property that I pre-created in the CRM. If you want to create a property on the fly, you can do so just by clicking that create new property button. And from there, I can start my sync. So that's sync to CRM. The other activation I want to show you is if you wanted to get this data out of this data set and you want to bring it somewhere else, you can also export your data from the data set and leverage it in whatever other tool you want to use. So I'm going to go use in, export. And then from here, we have three different options. We can download it to our desktop as a CSV file, or we can sync it with a Google Sheet or an Office 365 Excel sheet. For this, I'm going to choose Google Sheet, and I've already pre-authenticated my account. And so from here, I can name the file that I'm going to create. I can choose which view I'm going to export, whether I want to export the summarized view or the unsummarized view. For this one, I'll just stick with that summarized view. And then again, I can select the frequency. I could do it just one-off, or I could do it as many times as I want to on a cadence as I choose. And so then I would click Start Sync, and that would start syncing with the Google Sheet that I created. And I think I do. I have this Google Sheet that I pre-created, which is just an export that I did right before this. And so it shows that average level of interest that I can then go and bring into any other tool that I might be using to do my outreach with my sales reps. So those are two other ways that you can activate your data set within Data Studio.
Alex, you weren't showing the Google Sheet.
Did I pick? Okay. Okay, let me see if I can stop sharing and then quickly reshare. All right. And so we have the Google Sheet that I exported from the data set, and that average interest level field is right there highlighted that we can then bring into any other tool we might be using. Okay. So that's two other ways you can activate your data set. I'm going to pass it off now to Parth, who's going to walk us through some of the changes we made to data quality.
Hi, everybody. All right, let me know if you see what I'm trying to show, or if there are any issues.
Looks like data quality on our screen.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Parth. I'm the PM for the data quality tools. So I've got a lot to share for this session. I'm going to assume that most of you are already familiar with the data quality tools. So I want to share what's new and what we've added. So we've made 4 key updates. First and most obvious is the UX change for the data quality overview. So it's previously known as the Data Quality Command Center. The new design highlights 3 key cards at the top and account for duplicate issues, formatting issues, and then possible enrichment gaps. Clicking the CTA will take you to the app, but you may also navigate there via the tabs at the top. In our second section, and something that's kind of cool, is that we'll actually highlight duplicates by rule or formatting issues by the specific issue that your portal has, in addition to app sync or workflow insights. We'll also attempt to drive customers to opt into the data quality digest, the data agent, etc. These recommendations will only be surfaced if you have not already opted in or you have more than 0 issues, obviously. So if you don't have the problem, we won't tell you to go fix a problem that doesn't exist. And then lastly, at the bottom, you have a snapshot of your property health. So we highlight a total count of properties with no data, how many are unused, how many are duplicates of each other. And then you can see more details on properties by clicking the CTA to the Property Insights app. So that's like kind of the changes at a very high level to the data quality overview page. The second thing I wanted to highlight is that you may notice the data monitoring card that used to exist is not here anymore. We've actually moved. We've done this on purpose. So we've had customers tell us that they like to manage their alerts inside their respective apps, and so we listened. Property anomaly alerts are now manageable inside of the Property Insights app. That's right here. We've added a tab for that, and then the experience kind of has stayed the same, but we'll actually call out an alert at the top. And then the new duplicate alerts are now configurable inside of the Manage Duplicates app by clicking this Alerts tab right here, and you still get the same experience. Now, we have additional alerts at the top of the page here as well, both for custom rules and for duplicate alerts. And then the third change that's inside the Manage Duplicates tool is auto merge and custom rules. So you can now identify dupes via a custom rule. Today, we identify duplicates via an internal model that looks at a certain list of properties for both contacts and companies, and then derives this confidence score, and then we show you what we believe are dupes. Now, a customer can actually create custom rules themselves. So you can click Create Custom Rule. You can choose an object. So let's say I select companies, but right now it's contacts and companies. I'll say I care about, whatever, these 3 properties here, and then I can name it whatever I want to, Parth's coolest custom rule in the world or whatever. When I click the Create button, you got to give it a little bit of time, and then it should pop out those results right here under the custom rules action. So these are the HubSpot model dupes. That's the one that you are already used to and you already see. And then the second tab, this is the name that I created, merge same name in same city, and then it'll show you an example of those. So coming soon is the ability to auto merge duplicates found by the custom rule that you've created, but that's not available just yet. Auto merge itself is in public beta as well. So auto merge can be configured by clicking the auto merge settings button. You can toggle on for contacts or for companies, and then you can choose however many properties out of this list that you'd like. So maybe I select phone number and country and region, or for contacts, I select just phone number. And then I can click save, but I think my screen is too small, so you're probably not seeing it, but there's a save button at the bottom. Now what that means is anytime a duplicate is identified on this page here, and the phone number matches exactly 1-to-1, we will go ahead and automatically merge those records for you moving forward. And so it does take a little bit of lift off of your part and a little bit more onto us to create that automation. This is available, auto merge is available for the HubSpot model duplicates so far. Auto merge for custom rules is something that we're working on and ideally should have out for customers hopefully very soon. Now, the last change that I wanted to go through was the sunset of the missing data app and data quality kind of being the new home for data enrichment. So now when you actually click data enrichment, which is right here on the navigation, it'll actually bring you to the data quality home. And so this data enrichment page is pretty cool. Breeze will actually own this page, or I guess our team that owns the enrichment page. A great opportunity to collab between a lot of different teams across HubSpot, which we're excited about. So at the top, you can actually see your enrichment coverage. So portals will be able to scan bi-weekly, and then users will see a snapshot of contacts and companies that have available enrichment, aka data that we have available for them that they can take advantage of. On the right, they can actually see coverage by property for both contacts and companies. By clicking companies and then clicking contacts, you can actually see. This is a test portal, so ignore the stats here. The coolest part is actually, in my opinion, the middle section. You can actually upload a list and preview enrichment capabilities. So for example, if I just, take whatever here, I don't know, let's just say, watch me pick a bad example. There you go. I picked a bad example. Okay, so here's one example. This list does not have a ton of data, but the point is it'll show you a preview of the data that we can fill out for you. And then that's super cool. So if you had a list of, let's say, 1,000 or different records, and we have 800 or 900 of those records that we can fill out for you, clicking the preview button, uploading it here will show you a preview of all that data, and you can click enrich segment, and then it enriches it for you. And then lastly is prompting use of the data agent so that you're able to take advantage of smart properties, actions, and columns, a little bit about what Jasmine kind of mentioned earlier, which if you haven't checked out yet are awesome. Smart properties are basically custom properties that you can populate with specific AI-driven answers for data insights that may be specific to your business or data that you may not have readily available to you. AI can actually help you find that. So at a very high level, these are kind of our changes. A key highlight, though, is that previously, data quality was only available to Data Hub Pro, or I guess Operations Hub Pro and Plus customers. Data quality is now available to all Starter Plus customers. And so if you are a Starter Plus customer, you do have to opt into the public beta. And so definitely hit the product, the settings, hit product updates, and then find data quality for Starter Plus, opt into that public beta, and then you should be able to access this page. You should be able to scan your portal. You should be able to take actions on duplicates, on formatting issues, and on enrichment, and see all of this really pretty awesome stuff. So that's pretty much some of the updates that we've made. Happy to answer all the questions. I see some of them coming through the chat, so I'll definitely go through and start answering those. But please opt into the public beta if you're not a Data Hub customer, and give me feedback.
Love it.
Awesome. Thanks, Parth. I'm going to just share real quick a little preview of what's next. I know Mark gave a little preview of warehouses, but for Data Studio, we're continuing to improve the combined steps to bring data together. The sync to CRM experience that Alex shared, we're looking at association support, as well as more aggregation functions for things like dates and strings. On the warehouse side, the Databricks integration is coming up, and then also exploring other popular warehouses. It looks like, sorry, there's a weird formatting thing going on.
Can you refresh? I think there's
okay.
There was an error, and then I think.
Okay, let's try again.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Let's see. Is it loading? Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Thank you. Now we have events on here too. Great. More app support for events, custom events, sync events to the timeline. And then on the data quality side, continuing to add more higher limits to deduplication, as well as faster performance, looking at smarter merges with custom rules, and then being able to merge those custom rules, automatically merge those custom rules as well. Lastly, for data sources and API support, expanding integration coverage even more. And then we're also looking at introducing an API to enable custom integration. So if you have a third party that isn't on the current list for Data Studio, hopefully this would help unlock some of those use cases and connections as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. That's a lot of stuff coming up. I love to hear that. So admins, we've got a good amount of time for Q&A. So I appreciate that, team. I know you worked through some system hiccups and things going on. So I appreciate you doing that and leaving a ton of time for Q&A. There are a bunch in there. So go ahead, go over there, upvote your favorite. If you put something in the chat and we didn't answer it at the time, go ahead and put that in the chat and make sure you're upvoting your favorites so we get to them. I'll give you another couple seconds and then I'm going to go over there and I'm going to rapid fire. If we talked about something and there was still a question, I'm still going to read it out loud and give you a chance to talk to it. So that way you can add any additional context to it and it'll give us a chance to engage with it. So let me get over there and put most voted at the top. And we are, let's see. Karen says, the Google Sheet, is it updated continuously, meaning every time there's a change in the file?
It's every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes.
Yeah, so there are two things. One is when you bring it from your source, which is Google Sheets, into Studio, that's updated 5 minutes, and you do not get charged for that. Just wanted to clarify that does not consume credits when you bring the data source in Data Studio. You have to use the data source in a data set and use the data set for segmentation workflow and others for credit consumption. So that's 5 minutes when you pull the data. And then whatever duration you sync it for workflow or for segmentation, that's a different cadence. Alex, you were saying something. Sorry.
I was going to say the same exact thing that you just said.
I love it. It's always good when the answer matches. How does Data Hub handle data sources that require a login?
Just the authentication part of it. The Google Sheets does require a login. I didn't go through the whole process of authenticating, giving permissions, but most of the apps do that. Mark, unless you have anything else to add.
No, I mean, just to call out that when you want to add a new data source, you will have to go through the steps to connect it. That connection involves some kind of secure process, like providing credentials, creating like a role and permissions, some kind of secure process that allows you to securely connect your data source to Data Studio. It's different for different apps, so I can't really tell which one, and there's quite a few in here.
Gotcha. We've got a couple on cost and credits, and I know, Jasmine, you just touched on it. Do each of you want to touch on the cost and the credits for each of the different areas? I think that might be the most efficient.
I have a slide I can share real quick that has the overall pricing, so maybe we start there.
Better.
Well, let's make sure we're showing it. All right. So just for context, the base price for Data Hub for Pro and Enterprise is not changing. So it's $800 per month for professional, $2,000 per month for enterprise. What is changing is the included credits. So for Pro and Enterprise customers, you will have some included credits depending on which tier you're on. For Pro, it's 5,000. For Enterprise, it's 10,000. And with that, the primary credit consuming features are all of the activations for Data Studio, except for reporting. So you can report as you were already with data sets without limits in terms of not needing credits to use data sets and reporting. But if you want to use it in a workflow, in a segment, if you want to sync to CRM, if you want to export, those will all consume credits based on each time it's syncing or updating. So I can let the PMs explain maybe a little bit more for each specific case, but overall, this is the pricing for Data Hub.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
for sync to CRM specifically, as well as the other activations, I believe all the activations consume credits on the same rate. And the way that we choose that rate is based on the size of your primary data source. So if your primary data source is 0 to 500,000 rows, I believe it consumes 25 credits. If it's 500,000 to 5 million, it consumes 75 credits. If it's 5 million plus, I believe it's 200 credits. I can get specifics after that if anyone wants to follow up on that, but I believe that's roughly the consumption rate at which we consume credits for those activations.
I do see in the chat about credits for syncing, just clarifying, because we are using the term syncing for several things, but external data to Data Studio, like I mentioned earlier, would not consume credits. So if you're just bringing your data sources in Data Studio, haven't yet used it in a data set and haven't used the data set elsewhere, just those data sources by itself won't cost credits.
Yep.
I'm going to ask this question out of order of voted, just because it kind of goes with that. Can you set a max credit use limits per day or month, similar to Google Ad Budget?
Right now, you can't control based on the tool. So you just have your overall credit amount for your account. And you can, within your admin, like credit consumption part of HubSpot, you can decide how you want to manage credits across your team, but it's not tool-based right now. So you wouldn't be able to like cap it for Data Studio, for example.
Is that something that is on the thought process for the future?
It's a good question. I can definitely follow up with our billing team to see if it's something that they have on the roadmap.
Love that. All right. Let's see. Bill says, we're finding that enrichment seems to be driven by URL. We have cases where a client may use a singular URL, but may have broken out by sub URL. We have to be careful since the main URL will try to enrich properties incorrectly. Any plans to allow or correct this?
I don't know if we have an answer on that one. I do know that the challenging thing with enrichment is the unique identifier of domain is often how we can find the best information for a company. Same goes for contacts. So I don't know if we're planning to change for like subdomains or additional locations, but definitely we'll pass that along to the enrichment team.
All right, resort, because I saw some changes happening. Can Data Studio use HubDB as a data source?
I don't believe so. I would love to hear the use cases for that. It sounds really interesting. I'd love, if someone wants to follow up with us, how they want to leverage HubDB within Data Studio. That'd be really cool to hear more about.
Tori, go ahead and either add that to the chat or I'll share their contact information. Let's see. Can you select other unit identifier like a customer number? Let's say you want to make a report by company and not contact.
Yep, I think I answered this in the chat as well, but you can, depending on which object you're making your report off of, here we did contacts, and email is just an easy example, but you could create your data set for the company object. And when you're joining your records, you can choose any property that you want. We recommend using a unique identifier just so that you get the best quality data possible, but you can make that join off of whatever you'd like.
Got it. Can you explain the difference between Data Hub and an integration with the actual platform?
I'm guessing this is in context of Snowflake, actually.
Possibly. It was about that timestamp.
Yeah, so the difference is that in Data Studio, you can connect Snowflake as a source and then either combine your data with other sources, or you can filter it, or you can sort of correct it and enrich it, just like we've seen in the demo. Unlike in Data Sync or the other integration where you choose your mappings, you choose your source, and then it directly syncs based on your specified cadence to the CRM. If it is actually what you're talking about is Snowflake, then that's what I would say.
Wonderful. Let's see. Will we be able to pick which data to enrich from this list soon? I don't want to enrich name or address details, for example, but want LinkedIn and job info for contacts.
Yes, so the enrichment columns that are available. So we have two main ways you can enrich through Data Studio. One is using Data Agent, which Jasmine shared, how you can ask an LLM question and you get a systematic response. We also have the enrichment that's available across the platform in Data Studio, where you could pick which columns you want to add depending on whether it's contacts or companies. If it's contacts, you could add a column for LinkedIn URL. I already forget the other one, but you could just like selectively add those as columns to your data set. That's all included.
All right. As I've tested data enrichment, I found that some of the info is incorrect. Are there any tips you have to help us ensure that we're adding only the best data?
I think we touched on this a little earlier, but it's based on that URL. So either the company domain name or the email address is where we're gathering that enrichment. So, yeah. Parth, I don't know if you have anything more to add.
I was just going to say, I mean, there's a possibility that not all of the data is the most recent or updated. I know the data set is consistently refined to make sure that we're keeping up to date, and we're very confident about the companies as well as contacts. But of course, if you see anything and you're like, okay, this is blatantly wrong, obviously you can change it on your end. But if you can send that feedback our way, we're happy to connect it with the enrichment team.
Yeah, and I see Michael put in the chat, is there something like a confidence score that could be used?
I'm not sure if there's I mean, Kara might know, but I'm not sure if there's like a confidence score per se that, and I'm sure we go through our checks to make sure that the data is valid before we present it to customers. So like we are confident in that world, but I don't know if we make that visible to customers. It's like, hey, we're 91% confident that this is the right email address, for example.
Gotcha. Lorena wants to know, is there a way to add more than one product into the column? For example, I want to see all of the products that Emma bought.
Not yet, but it's coming soon where, as we mentioned, the new aggregation functions would let you join all the products that Emma is interested in separated by a comma. So you can do string manipulations on it if you need. But it's coming soon.
Scott says, we're in the FinServ industry. Our data is currently in Azure Databricks. Are there plans to add a connector, which you did talk about? It's very important for the adoption of the platform. So if you want to, anything you want to add about Databricks?
Nothing really, but again, I'd be keen to understand the use case of how you want to use Databricks. So feel free to contact me.
All right, let's see. Abby says, can you show an example of using data imported into Data Studio elsewhere in HubSpot? That was at the very beginning, so.
Is this just like bringing the data? Are we talking about how the data set could be used in segment, workflow, and export? Is it pertaining to that? Like I brought in a Google Sheet, created a data set, and where am I using it?
Abby, if you want to clarify in the chat, that would be wonderful. Let's see. I'll make sure we get to as many of these as possible while she's doing that. Do values imported through the new source which overlap cost credits? Does HubSpot detect duplicate values across sources?
Could you repeat the question? I want to make sure I get at what point they're referring to it.
Yeah, do values imported through the new source which overlap cost credits? Does HubSpot detect duplicate values across sources?
Yeah, so when you're, and I'm going to assume that we're referring to sync to CRM here.
Sounds about the right time.
Yeah, so when you're taking the data set and syncing it to the CRM to update records that are in the CRM, a couple of things to keep in mind there. First, you can choose different sync modes. So you can choose create only, update only, or create and update, just like you can in import. And so if you wanted to only create new records instead of not updating existing records, you could choose that create only sync mode that we have. The other thing to keep in mind is which match key you're leveraging. In the example that I gave, our primary source was contacts, so we didn't have to choose a match key. But if you have completely external data that you are using to build your data set, you'll be asked to give a match key. And at that point, you would say, okay, I'm using email here in order to match data within this data set to data within the CRM. We don't currently have a check to make sure that we're not charging based off of updating data or creating that new data, but that's because we're doing that charge based on the size of the primary source, not what we're updating in the CRM.
That's a good distinction. Are custom rules for managing duplicates live yet?
Yeah, it's in public beta. You can definitely opt yourself into it by hitting the product updates. And I believe the title is Create Custom Rules to Manage Duplicate Records. If you just search Create Custom, it should probably show up.
And that's Data Hub Pro and Enterprise, right?
Yeah, Data Hub Pro and Enterprise.
Zach wants to know, any plans for additional join options like conditional joins for data sources in data sets? I run into some challenges when filtering after the data sets have been joined.
Yes, we are considering that. If you have specific use cases and problems that you're facing, please reach out. We would love to understand that better.
Love it. Resort, make sure I didn't miss any. For duplicates, how can we permanently mark something ignore? We have two contacts, a junior and a senior, and it keeps coming up as duplicate, and I keep saying ignore.
If you keep rejecting, if you're referring to the duplicates table, as you continue to reject them, we should be able to identify that this is not something that you want to see. But what might be happening, for example, is if you have records A, B, and C, we might flag A and C as a duplicate. You might be rejecting that, but then there's also record B, which is also a duplicate of A. So then you might be seeing that same one. If you reject that, then there might be more. So like there might be like 40 or 50 different Parth Shahs. And so you might think that you're rejecting the same one, but it might not be. But we can confirm that on our end. So feel free to connect with me and send me your portal. I can check that really quickly.
Gotcha. Anna says, and Anna, correct me if I'm reading this incorrectly. What if I'm a multi-hub user? Do I get credits per hub? That is yes.
So okay. It's not aggregated. So it's not, there's a base amount of credits included per hub, but you'll get the highest amount. So if you have Data Hub, you'll get the amount that Data Hub provides, which is 5,000 or 10,000. It doesn't add across all of the hubs that you have.
Sven wants to know, can I connect my data lockhouse with the data studio and exchange my data, for examples, from the ERP system?
I think it'd be interesting to know which lakehouse you are referring to, or which one do you use, and accordingly, like we can sort of figure out if that's one of the supported warehouses or lakehouses. Then yes. If not, then it would be one of the ones that are in our pipeline. But yeah, I'd be keen to understand which one it is. Yeah.
I put everyone's preferred contact method in the chat for those who are still here with us. Go ahead, and if you've got something specific, or if your question had a caveat answered to it, go ahead and reach out to them. This is the group you want to get your information from, so make sure you're taking advantage of the fact that they're willing to connect and they want to know your specific use cases and details. So make sure you're doing that. I think we probably got time for one, maybe two more. So I'm going to resort and just make sure. Can new properties coming in from other sources be added to the contact company deal object?
I'm assuming, again, that's the sync to CRM. So as you're creating those net new columns within your data set, you would be able to then sync them to the CRM, just like I showed in my demo. So if you're doing a contact sync, you'd be able to select ones for the contact object. So you're doing company syncs, again, company object. We don't support multi-object yet, but it's something that's on our roadmap.
Let's see. A lot of comments in the Q&A, so I'm trying to get through this. Are there any plans to add ways to auto accept the formatting issues? Working on cleaning up a large volume of these, and would be great to see rules for these things like time zone, missing values, and data mismatch.
Yeah, that's something that's already on our. I don't want to say roadmap, but like it's on our vision. We've already taken a look at it, some ideas to solve for that. So hopefully we will be connecting with the team that now owns formatting issues. And sending all those resources their way. So hopefully that's something that we can prioritize ASAP and get that out. I know cleaning 50 at a time when you have thousands is probably not the easiest. So something we're definitely prioritizing.
A little tedious. A little tedious. Let's see. We talked about pricing. We talked about Snowflake. Can we get a function list for the roadmap? A little requests that come in.
Is it data set functions that we're talking about?
Shell, if you want to be specific, go ahead and throw that in the chat.
If so, yes, we can do that.
And then we had a couple of these in here, so I'll go ahead and ask it, and maybe someone can share, and then we'll end on that. Can you share where the data credits are located in the system?
Yeah, so if you click the top right dropdown in your portal, I think right above or below the product updates section of the portal, you'll see a new area that says credits. And you can go there, manage it, see how many credits your portal has consumed, etc.
Love All right, so I will also share out everyone's contact information in the email with the recording. And I appreciate everyone coming and sharing all of your amazing knowledge with the team and with the members of the group. I know there's a lot of questions, and I appreciate the transparency on the pricing. That's always something that's a little hard, especially when you've got admins who are managing multiple portals, so they have to think about all of those things. Appreciate everyone coming, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Have a great week.
Welcome to the admin hug. No flash, just facts and a whole lot of love. We get it done. Accidental or all in by choice. Admin and spies and lift their voice. Fixing fields and hacking time. Making magic with no headline. Guy drops gold. Tiana brings fire in a crew that's here to lift you higher. We swap the wins and share the pain. No one's solo in this game. It's the admin hug, where legends log in. From chaos to clarity, that's how we win. Dirty data challenge accepted. Portal perfection fully connected. Quick fix queens, work around kings. Custom coded everything. Tabs open, coffee strong. You've been solving all along. We've got the know-how, we've got the map. Even HubSpot protocols up to chat. You're not just heard, you help shape the tools. Admins rewriting all the rules. Thanks for building with the hug. Thanks for powering the hug. Behind every campaign, push and nudge.